Alright, I was on that, what website was it? There's something like, Biblical Answers or something like that. Oh yeah, here it is. Gotquestions.org. That's what it was. Gotquestions.org. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. I wish I had a cigarette. I'd put it in my mouth and light it right now. No. I've heard this about smoking. I've heard this about drinking. I've heard this about eating fatty foods. I've heard this about not exercising enough. Proof texting is bad. I can proof text the Psalms and say there is no God. What is Paul talking about in chapter 6? 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. Why not read all of chapter 6 first? What were temples back in the day? Like temples to Venus and Aphrodite, and even temples before that. They had things called temple prostitutes. And even in the temples of Dionysus and Aphrodite and Venus, they'd have orgies. Even in temples that weren't for sex gods or goddesses, they'd have orgies. I don't mean orgies as in eating a lot, like in the classical sense. I mean sex with as many people. I mean, you could just start off in the middle, right? Or do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit the kingdom? And do not deceive, neither be fornicators, idolaters, adulterers, effeminate, or homosexuals. Keeps going on. That, whatever. Things were added in later. The divisions. So let's go. What's the context immediately? Well, it starts around verse 12. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be mastered by anything. Food is for the stomach. Food is for the stomach, and the stomach for food. But God will do away with both of them. Yet the body is not for immorality. What does that mean? Sexual immorality. But the Lord is for the body. Now God has not only raised the Lord, but will also raise you through his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Question mark. Do you not know that? Shall I then take away the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? May it never be. Or do you not know that anyone who joins himself to a prostitute is one body with her? For he says, two shall become one flesh. Just like marriage, right? But the one who joins himself to the Lord is one spirit with him. Flee immorality. Every other sin that man commits outside his body, but the immoral man sins against his own body. Immoral. What does immoral mean here? Sexual immorality. Or do you not know your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and that and that you are not your own. For you have been bought with a price. Therefore glorify God with your body. And then the very next verse, which is chapter 7, verse 1, goes on about marriage. Now concerning the things which you wrote, it is good, good for a man not such a woman, but because of immorality, each man should have his own wife, each woman have her own husband. Husbands fulfilling duties. Smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day. I don't advise smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day, by the way. Does not have anything to do with this verse. This has to do with joining your member with a prostitute or a loose person, whether that's a man or a woman, or even an animal that walks on 4 legs. You were bought with a price. You don't use your body as a tool of sexual immorality. That's what it means. See these chapter and verse divisions? Those came just before the Protestant Reformation. The actual part actually starts at 6:12. Chapter 6, verse 12 in 1 Corinthians. And it goes on. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, therefore you shouldn't smoke. Therefore you shouldn't eat fatty foods. Therefore you shouldn't eat butter. No. It's talking about binding your flesh to somebody who's not your wife. It specifies prostitute in there. But it could be an animal, like a sheep. Could be another man. It could be a woman who's not a prostitute, who's not your wife. So I'm sick and tired of people misusing that. Because on here, it talked about piercings. Well, your body's a temple. Check out Nicaea. The bishops that attended were missing fingers, had their eyes plucked out, some of them were blinded. Did they not treat their body like a temple? No, they suffered horrid persecution and torture and would not deny Christ. Does that mean they went against 1 Corinthians 6:19? No. If they were having sex with prostitutes, whether female or male, then yes, they were going against it. But they didn't do that. Your body's a temple means do not join it sexually with the sexually immoral. That's what it means. Anybody who tells you anything other than that, not only is a liar, they haven't even read the chapter. And they're adding to it. They're making up their own law. They're saying that, no, Paul, don't listen to him, listen to me. That's what they're saying. That Paul didn't know what he was talking about. That's what proof texting gets you. Oh, Paul, he was just, see, because, your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. We can use this as a baseball bat to beat people over the head with. Oh, you eat too much candy? You're violating. You eat too many Snickers bars? You're violating that. Isn't your body a temple of the Holy Spirit? Really? Am I sticking my dick in the anus of, a guy or a woman? Or, just some female prostitute? I'm putting it in her vagina? Am I, sticking it in her mouth? That's what Paul's talking about. It's Corinth, for God's sake. Read Corinthians. This is the bad thing about proof text. Read it in context. Please. If you read anything in the Bible, read the full book. Read the full epistle. Get the context correct. Peace to you. May God save Serbia, Syria, and Ireland.